if you've had a go at this and you start doing your algebra and then you start running into some brick walls, okay? And so there's a trick to this which I'm going to show you, which this is why we do these practice questions, right? Because you wouldn't have worked out, like you're getting this in exam, and you would do your normal procedure, and it breaks down, and you'll see why in a second. Okay? So, starts off pretty harmlessly. Okay? So I've got a point, and I've got these distances. They're not equal. The sum of the differences equals 2. Okay? So, I'm going to have a distance, PA, plus the distance PB, and they should equal 2. So far, so good. Okay? Now, I've deliberately chosen some nice easy numbers here, okay? Because despite that, the algebra still turns very bad, because watch what happens. You've got the distance formula over here, because it's the origin, okay? It's just going to be x squared plus y squared. Is that okay? Because it's minus 0 all squared. This time you've got x minus 1 and y minus 1. And that's equal to 2. Okay? Now, so far, when you see square root signs, you're like, I don't like to deal with those, so I just square, okay? And it seems like it'll go okay first, because this will turn to just, well, you'll get rid of the square sign, right? And this, you also get rid of the square sign. But then, if you just did that, and everything seems to be going okay from there, that's because you've forgotten something significant, right? Because a plus b, all squared, which you're squaring the whole thing. You're not picking one and then squaring that and the next one, right? When you square the whole thing, it's not just a squared plus b squared. You have to double the product of the two terms, right? And you're like, oh no, this is gonna turn out badly for me, right? So this is gonna be 2 times the square root of. So not only did we not get rid of these square roots, we made it substantially less. And don't even try squaring again, right? Because then you've got this, you've got 3 things you've got to square, and trust me, it's bad, okay? It's worse, right? So this approach, just squaring, it's not going to help, okay?
Also, we don't
So going from this line and squaring everything it's not going to get you any closer to an answer. So what do? You make one change, and then you keep on going, which doesn't seem like it would make that much of a difference, but it will. So I'm going to take one of these square roots, and I'm going to move it over to the other side. Sort of doesn't matter which one, okay? I'm going to take the easier one and move it over, okay? So I'm going to have this square root on this side. And then over the other side, I'll have 2 minus this. Now, what difference does that make? All I've done is relocate things. What difference does it make? Answer, a lot. So now I can square it, okay? If I square this, the square root sign disappears. Now, when I square this, you're like, hey, hold on a second. This is the same problem as we had before. It is still a problem. We will still have a square root, but it won't be as bad as before because we won't have square root times square root. Watch what happens. A minus b all squared. Square the first one, okay? Square the last one, and then you take twice the product, right? So in this case, minus 2 lots of 2 times that. So that's 4. Now, I still have a square root sign. Okay, but I can deal with this one, okay? Because when I expand this all out, you can see I'm going to have an x squared and a y squared, which will cancel, okay? When I've simplified a bit further, then I can square again, and that'll get rid of the square root sign, okay? So, we'll have a look at, I'll show you the working for that.
But you get, if you do that, you get an xy.
Now, when you get there at the end, it still will not be straightforward. It's still a weird shape. Okay, so I'm going to leave you hanging in suspense. Same question as before. What's the shape? Okay. How would you describe it? Okay, it's not an ellipse. And can you graph it?
What's the difference?
Can you actually draw it? Okay, and there's a catch here as well, not just the script. See you tomorrow.
Wait, so it's